Absolutely outrageous. Good afternoon or good morning when this goes out. I hope everyone's well today. Thank you for watching. There's a adage that I'm going to try to paraphrase here, which is hard times create hard men create good times create weak men create hard times. We're down that path at the moment. We've had the good times, we've had the strong men, and now we've got the weak men, and they are creating the weak times. Nothing is free, everything needs to be paid for, and the bill always comes due. Alright? When I was growing up in the 80s and 90s, I was always told to respect the police. I was always told to respect the rule of law. I was always told one of the worst things that can happen is a knock on the door from the police and you bring in trouble and shame to this house for everybody to see. That fear and that being instilled into the younger generations from the older generations is no longer there. This is a breakdown in community, this is a breakdown in society, and this is a breakdown in the adage that it takes an entire community, an entire village to raise a child. Back in the day, we had harsh punishments for harsh crimes. Back in the day, we displayed the heads of the traitors in the River Thames, on the River Thames. They had their heads on spikes as a deterrent to others or visitors to this land to say, if you betray our trust, if you betray our king, if you betray our country, this is what will happen. That was harsh punishments, harsh penalties for a harsh crime. Alright? When we look at the law, I think it was changed in 1870. The punishment of hanging, drawing and quartering was officially abolished in the United Kingdom in 1870. The act ending the remaining barbaric elements of the punishment for treason, including disembowelment and the quartering after death. From this point onwards, the treason remained a capital offence. The method of execution was simply reduced to hanging by the neck until dead. In practice, the full punishment had already fallen out of use long before then, and the last people to actually be subjected to it and executed were in the late 18th century, notably around the Jacobite era of 1746. By the 19th century, it was no longer carried out. Harsh penalties for harsh crimes. People knew that if they took the piss, not metaphorically, literally, you'd be dealt with. Okay, usually by a short drop and a sudden stop. That's just the way it was. And not only that, people coming to the country would know that as well. So with that in mind, I want to look at our current rulers, Tuti Akia and his Attorney General, Lord Hermer. There's been a lot of hoopla this week, and I'm going to get into the article, so indulge me while I bring up the article. Appeals courts review a UK judge spurring teen rapists jail. The sentence provoked a public backlash, with one of the victims saying, "The leniency was like a rock straight to my face." This is getting a lot of attention. What's not getting the attention is why the justice system is so weak. And that's the context at the beginning of this video, because we are ruled by weak, liberal idiots. And what they do is send out a message that you're not going to be dealt with accordingly. You're going to be dealt with kid gloves, especially if you are kids. It's not good enough. The age of criminal responsibility in this United Kingdom is 10 in England and Wales and Northern Ireland, and 12 in Scotland. That is the That is when the law says you know right from wrong, and you should be held accountable and for the actions and and basically consequences for actions. All right. This judge doesn't appear to have got the memo, so I'm going to read into it now. An appeals court will review a British judge's decision to spur 3 teenagers jailed as they were convicted of rape, the UK Attorney General said on Tuesday. That's Lord Hermer. A judge at Southampton Crown Court in southern England last week handed down the two 15-year-old boys a non-custodial sentence together for raping 2 girls in 2024 and 2025 and sharing the video and multiple attacks online. He also spurred a 14-year-old boy prison time after he was convicted of 2 rape charges for encouraging the second defendant last year, in the last year's incident, and indecent image offence. Judge Nicholas Rowland said on Thursday's hearing he wanted to avoid criminalising the children unnecessarily. As I've previously stated, the age of criminal responsibility in England and Wales is 10. These children are above that threshold. They are criminals. They are found guilty in a court of law. So it's not for a judge to say, I don't want to criminalise them. They are criminals. They're found guilty of one of the most heinous crimes you can commit. Alright? And that is why there was a public outcry. That is why people are outraged. However, the sentence provoked severe backlash after several days of consideration. Attorney General Lord Hermer, the government's chief legal advisor, decided to refer them to the Court of Appeal in London for for the sentences being unduly lenient. There we go. Prime Minister Tuti Akia told broadcasters on Tuesday that this was clearly the right outcome, so not actually condemning or condoning what the judge said, saying that he found the case distressing as a politician and as a father. The British leader praised the courage of the victims, one who spoke out at the sentences at the high-profile interview. The teenager, who was 15 at the time of the attack, told the BBC on Sunday the judge's sentencing remarks about avoiding criminalising the perpetrators hit like a rock in the face. I'm disgusted by this. I'm outraged by this. Lest we forget, this isn't in isolation. This sort of stuff happens all the time. You hear about it all the time. And the shocking and the scary thing is we only hear about the high-profile cases. What about the cases that don't make the press, that don't make the airwaves? Alright? This is happening all over the place. It's because of the liberal post-war consensus and the liberal mindset. Alright? We need to bring back harsh penalties and harsh punishments. If you can't do the crime, if you can't do the time, don't do the crime. I'll end this here. Lest we forget that Tuti Akia, Lord Hermer, and I think Shabana Mahmood and Sadiq Khan's, they are all human rights lawyers. I think Sadiq Khan actually defended people related to the 9/11 attack in America. I think that's where he earns his stripes. And the most egregious one I remember Keir Starmer actually advising on was a Jamaican case where he was trying to get a death penalty sentence overturned for a double or triple murderer. These are the people that are in charge of the country and in charge of legal in the United Kingdom currently. Alright? Now, the sentence for rape, back when hanging, drawing and quartering people was still a thing, was penal servitude as a form of imprisonment with hard labour in a convict prison. Sentences were at the discretion of the judge. Serious cases, this means very long terms, including life in prison. Which doesn't mean like it does now where it's 10 years and you're out. Life meant life if you weren't executed. And as I say, this was the mindset of the British citizen of if you do something wrong, you're going to get harsh penalties. Over centuries, this created a high trust society. Right up until very recently, as I say, my generation growing up was forewarned. Do not bring trouble to the door, because the consequences, both from the law and from your own family, i.e. your parents, don't bear thinking about. Alright, that's the mindset that we're brought up with. All of that is gone. All of that is gone. But the high trust society was at least of my generation for centuries. Alright? And it was created by strong men and hard times. That's what created it. When you import the entire third world to the United Kingdom, they've never had that instilled in them, in their populations, because they are from low trust societies. Not everybody is the same. Alright? When they come here and they literally get away with daylight robbery and other things, when they rape, they pillage, and they disrespect our laws and our culture, they are literally taking the piss because we are letting them do it. Alright? Not all cultures are the same. In this particular case, it's impossible to know whether these children that raped these girls were of British or foreign descent, whether they first, second generation migrants, or if they are native British. But the principle remains the same. Because of the softly liberal laws that we're currently under, things like this will continue to happen. Make no mistake, Lord Homer has only intervened because of political pressure, not because he disagrees with the framework that underpins his judge buddies giving out sentences like this. If you like this video, give me a thumbs up, give me a like and subscribe. I will see you in the next one. You have a good evening and thank you again.